Hello, hello, hello. I think what Daniel is trying to say is hello and welcome to Hack to the Rescue, right? No, sorry guys, I meant wrong. What actually he said is that he's Daniel Di Giusto, but you can call him DJ Giusto.
Hello everyone. Yes, it's me. Welcome to our second hackathon. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, and we are happy to say that today's hackathon will allow me to never wear this mask again.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes, take a deep breath, Daniel.
Yeah, I need to get out of this. We would love to present you our hackathon, but we would love to also say that it wouldn't be possible with every organization and partner that enabled it and made it happen, right?
Yes, exactly. We're very happy. Yeah, please take this off.
Way better.
We're very happy to say that this edition of the hackathon is made in collaboration with AWS. AWS, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution, also for your ongoing support. But there are also other partners that you can see on the slide. We have sponsors of the prizes that we will mention actually in a moment, not to spoil the fun. Thank you Dropbox, thank you Software One, and thank you Foundation Gaia. Thank you so much.
But we also have our event partners that actually make this whole event possible.
Exactly.
And I would like to thank ProIdea, Challenge Rocket, Digital Heart, and Cloud Technologies. Thank you so much.
Yes, we are so grateful, like really grateful. But there were also many community partners that spread the information, that enable us to actually reach many of you that are watching this and many of you that are joining us and will be building solutions for improvement of the air quality, right?
Exactly. So thank you so much for all the partners and a big welcome to all the participants. I'm Ana Camerano and this is Daniel Di Giusto. We are part of Tech to the Rescue, which is the organizer of the event. What is Tech to the Rescue?
Yes, tell us, please, Anna. Tell us what is Tech to the Rescue. Everybody's probably already more or less familiar, but for those that join us first time, we will slightly remind you.
Yes, with pleasure. So guys, Tech to the Rescue is the largest matchmaking platform for tech for good. We match tech companies with nonprofits to build impactful digital solutions together.
It sounds smart.
Yeah, and it's
easy.
All done on a pro bono or low bono basis.
So free of charge or way under the market rate?
Yeah, you can put it that way. Very quick facts about us. So we have actually more than 1,500 tech companies in our network.
Wow.
We have more than 1,400 nonprofits registered with us.
All right. They all want to build technology solutions to leverage their impact, I guess.
Exactly. But that's not all, because up until now, we enabled more than 500 impactful partnerships, or as we call it, matches.
Wow, 500.
More than 500,
More
Daniel.
than 500,
Yeah.
and it's been already only 3 years. So imagine what is possible.
Yes, the future is bright.
Yeah. All right. What else? Tell me more.
Yes, and from all of these partnerships that we enabled, we can actually estimate the impact on 7 million of lives.
7 million.
Yes.
I'm speechless.
Yes,
but
you should be.
It's not about us bragging about ourselves. It's all about helping those incredible organizations that we support in leveraging their impact through technology.
Yes,
and
exactly.
We today gather over 175 tech teams.
175.
Yeah.
Oh, numbers today are amazing.
Impressive, right? I mean, it's not only or just about numbers. It's basically about putting this talk into something binding, tangible, into action. So
it's all about impact in the end.
Exactly. Today we will be actually introducing organizations that are participants of our hackathon. It will come in a moment. We have pretty international crowd, very, very interesting projects, very international crew from Thailand, Nigeria, we have Poland, Bangladesh, but we also have international tech companies, basically a whole spectrum from United States all the way to Australia. So,
such an international event.
Yeah,
wow. That's amazing.
I know.
That's really nice. I'm very happy to see all these people around the world joining forces for the good, right?
Exactly. And I think this is the right time now to introduce the agenda.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit of what you can expect for the day today, right? I think you will see in a moment in the screen. So today you have the chance to meet 3 amazing speakers that will talk, a little bit about the intersections of technology and air quality. And after the speaking sessions, we'll come to the most awaited moment.
Right.
You will be revealed with the details of all the challenges that we'll have during the event.
Everybody's excited and waiting for that. Okay.
We're going to give you instructions about that a little bit later. And then, of course, the hacking will start.
Oh, I can't wait for this. I'm sure everybody is also waiting for that.
Yes.
So what's next, Anna?
Well, after knowing the agenda, I actually want to talk about why we are here, which is air quality, right? And how we mitigate the effects of air pollution. And in fact, cleaning our air is actually one of the most effective ways to save the planet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Air pollution is what we call a silent killer, Daniel, because it affects 99% of the population worldwide.
99%.
99%.
So it's basically like, how many are here? No, well, basically 9.9% out of 10 in this room.
Exactly.
This is quite a lot.
So me, you, everyone.
Sandra, Kuba, Zuza, you will learn about them throughout the event. But this is very important information. Like, it's really influencing basically every single person. And that's the reason why I also am wearing that mask, but I would love not to have to.
Yeah. And it gets worse because according to the World Health Organization, toxic air leads to 6.7 million premature deaths a year.
What?
So the scenario is worse.
6.7 million?
6.7 million.
It's like whole Finland dies every year, or what? Like Bulgaria?
Yes.
Or Serbia and Moldova?
Together, yes.
Like, can you imagine that?
We don't want
Just
that.
Just imagine that.
No, we don't want that. For sure, we don't want that. And that's why it's time to act and to really see, how technology can play an important role for saving the world, right?
Yeah, we need to make those steps. We need to act, and the time to act is actually now.
Exactly.
And it's also time to introduce our speakers.
Yes, with that said, we're very happy to introduce you to our first speaker of the day.
All right.
Woo! Yes. So I would like to welcome, I don't want to butcher Anna's name with my broken Polish, but I would like to welcome Anna Dworakowska to the stage. Woo!
Hello, yes.
Hi.
Very good pronunciation.
Oh, perfect. So it's Anna calling to Anna.
Yeah.
Hi, Anna. Can you hear us well?
Hello.
Yeah, everything good?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, everything's fine. I can hear you and see you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Are you sharing the screen with us today in the session?
Yes, I'm going to share something, yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. So welcome on board. Thank you so much for being here. We're very excited to hear what you have to say. And the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me here. I am really happy that we're having this international hackathon, air quality hackathon. We used to have smogathons, but here in Krakow, and air pollution, as you have said, is a truly global issue, and it needs to be addressed globally as well. So I hope that today and over the next couple of days, we will see some ground-changing ideas, solutions that will either be technological solutions or solutions aimed at building awareness of people, because not everybody knows that air pollution kills each year 7 million people globally. It's indoor and outdoor air pollution. So this is actually the largest environmental killer of all. So this is the most important environmental factor killing us, and it does it invisibly and silently. It is enough to breathe polluted air to become sick, or even worse, die. So when we look at the data, and when we look even at Europe, which is basically quite a developed region, we know that only dust pollution, because there are different pollutants, they have different impact on our health. But when we look only at dust pollution only in Europe, it's 250,000 of deaths every year. This number used to be larger, air quality is improving, but it's still 250,000 deaths every year. And these deaths are preventable, and they happen only because we breathe. And when we look at the country where I come from, Poland, actually the situation is really bad. We have the largest number of people dying from dust pollution. It's almost 50,000 people a year. So the situation is really serious. And when we think about the health impacts of air pollution, we usually think about respiratory tract, so like asthma, right? And it is true. If we breathe polluted air, we can have problems with breathing, with lung diseases, with asthma, with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and so on and so forth, different inflammations. But this is only a tip of the iceberg, because actually air pollution has a tremendous impact on all of the parts of our bodies, and actually all the systems within our bodies are impacted. It has been proven that once you inhale this little particle of dust, PM2.5, after 3 minutes, it actually spreads all over. It can reach every organ in your body, and it can have impact on every organ in your body. So actually the main impact when it comes to health impacts is observed within the cardiovascular diseases. So like brain stroke, heart attack, hypertension, all this can be caused by air pollution, but also the impact on how our brain works. It has been proven that air pollution may increase the risk of Alzheimer, or can actually increase the pace that this horrible disease is developing in our body. But also everyday functioning, like headaches, depression, problems with thinking, problems with concentrating, and of course cancer. Air pollution, breathing polluted air, can cause cancer. So this is really a wide range of health impacts, and this is great that the event like today's is happening, and that together we're trying to solve the problem, at least partially. So I come from Poland. I represent an organization which is focused solely on solving the problem of polluted air in Poland. So on this map, this is a map of pollution with carcinogenic and mutagenic benzoate in Europe. You can clearly see Poland. This is the red dot, and we have a lot of dust and benzoate pollutants. And we are actually the most polluted country in the whole EU when it comes to pollution with dust and benzoate pyrene. And why is this? This is the answer. Unfortunately, still a lot of houses in Poland are heated with solid fuels, meaning with coal, with wood, quite frequently also with waste, which is illegal. And these fuels are used in something which we call smokers, which are old type boilers that emit a lot of pollutant, a lot of smoke. And still 50% of single family buildings in Poland, they use coal for heating. And when we look at all of the coal that is consumed by households, that is used in households in the European Union, over 80% of it is used in Polish households. So this is why we still have a tremendous problem with air pollution. However, the situation is improving, and I will talk about it in a couple of minutes. Our movement for clean air started over 10 years ago in a beautiful city of Krakow, which is located in southern Poland. If you haven't been, I do recommend you a visit here, maybe outside of the heating season. And before we started the campaign, actually, there was no subject of air pollution in Krakow or in Poland. And the citizens of Krakow, they didn't know that actually they live in one of the most polluted cities in the EU. So what we started with our campaign, we just started providing people with this information, with the data on air pollution. And we started with Facebook. Facebook was the social medium to use at that time. It was over 10 years ago. And we just started telling people, translating the data into human language and showing them how much air was polluted. At that time, we didn't have access to any apps that would tell us that. And people got really furious and started really looking for this information. So our fan page started growing very rapidly. We were soon joined by scientists, by doctors, by PR agencies, by actors, singers, other famous people, and other NGOs, and ordinary people really taking interest in this matter. So it was like a snowball effect. We were organizing different things that you do in campaigns, so like protest marches, different happenings and stuff like that. But you could see that the number of Krakowians that were interested in the issue was growing actually day by day. And actually, even to our surprise, 1 year after, regional authorities decided to ban coal heating in Krakow. And later on, this was joined by the ban on wood heating as well, because wood, when burnt in these household appliances, emits basically the same, very similar substances as coal, and it also causes air pollution. So that was really widely discussed in the national press. And soon we were joined by people from all over Poland, because air pollution was not only the problem of Krakow, it was also the problem of the whole country, as you could see at the map that I was showing you. So we decided together to create an a national movement of grassroots local initiatives fighting for air quality improvement in Poland. And right now there are around 55 local initiatives in our movement, in the movement of Polish Smog Alert. So what do? We fight for legislation. This is not that much connected with technology, but we believe that we need good legislation, anti-smog legislation, banning the use of dirty installations for heating, banning the use of dirty fuels as well. And I don't want to go into details, but we've been quite successful in that. We also fight for good financial programs that will help people to change. So if you have a coal boiler, the smoker, and you want to change into clean heating, there is a financial program that will give you money to do that, or at least help you and covers a part of the cost to do that. So this is really important because, of course, such installations are expensive. Also, you can receive money for thermal modernization, so you can actually cut the demand on heat in your house, because that's actually the first thing you should do. You should reduce heat demand in your house and then replace heating into something cleaner. So that's the things that we do. But of course, we also try to change people's minds and how they think about air pollution and actually their awareness of the problem. And I just wanted to show you a couple of our campaigns. This is the campaign See What You Breathe campaign. This is the largest campaign that we are doing. And actually it is connected with one of the challenges that you will be presented with. So within that campaign, we have huge installations. They're like 3 meters by 2 meters. They look like billboards, but they can be easily transferred to different locations. And on these billboards, we have gigantic white lungs. They're covered with white fabric. Behind that lungs, we have ventilators that actually suck air through this fabric. And if the air is polluted, the lungs turn from white to gray to brown or even pitch black. And you can see it on this picture on the right. So usually such an installation stays 10 days up to 2 weeks in a given location. And sometimes it's when the air is really polluted, sometimes it's enough that the installation stays for 4 days and the lungs actually turn black. And also what is within that installation are small dust meters, so people can see actually the concentration of particulate matter in the air. The latest edition of this campaign was the largest one. We had 7 installations touring Poland, 63 locations visited, a lot of media attention, over 1,000 media materials only about this campaign. Another thing that we did, especially before the era of low-cost dust meters that are really popular in Poland, and there are a couple of companies developing their independent networks of dust meters, which is important because you have to bring the data to people. So we would have dust meters, and we would put them on the cars and travel with them on a certain route for a couple of hours. And the results was like a version of like a snapshot actually of what was happening in terms of air pollution in a given area on a given streets. So something like Google Street View, but with smog. And before the development of these low-cost measurements networks, actually this was an important piece of campaigning that changed people's minds, because people were convinced that the worst air quality was in the cities, because this is where the air quality monitoring stations were located. But it turned out that actually in smaller locations, in towns and villages where we have a lot of smokers, air quality was much worse. And for example, we also use a lot of outdoor advertising. So this is an example from the capital of Poland, Warsaw, the center of the capital. We would have digital displays that would show how many smokers need to be eliminated by a certain date, because there is legislation in Warsaw that actually came into force this year that banned the use of smokers. So we could show how actually the people living in the capital were doing with this process. So we could show the number of smokers that were left and the number of days that were left for the elimination of these smokers. So a lot is happening. It's just a really small snapshot of what we are doing together with our wonderful volunteers. But can we see an improvement? So in Krakow, definitely we can see an improvement. Since 2019, it is forbidden to burn wood or coal in Krakow. And what are the statistics? So 10 years ago, we would have around 220, 230 days of smog a year in Krakow. In 2022, 10 years later on, this fell to 40 days of polluted air a year. This year is going to be better than 40, maybe 20, maybe 30, we'll see, because we'll still have December to go. But we can see that these regulations and the change really in people's minds is also, well, it's having a tremendous impact on the air that we breathe in Krakow, but not only in Krakow, also in Poland. Here are 2 maps. They're also comparing 2012 and 2022, and all of the red areas in the map, solid red or striped red, they show that the concentration of dust, of particulate matter 10, is too high, and the green areas is within the norm. So you can see that actually we have, as a country, made a tremendous improvement, and there are more and more green areas, meaning that we are within the norm that is in the EU legislation. So that's basically it from me. I just wanted to say that it is really, I hope that the story of Polish Smog Alert really shows that it is worthwhile to actually act for air quality improvement, and it is doable, and that positive impacts are doable. But of course, despite this, are achievable. But despite these positive impacts, despite the improvement, we still see that a lot of people die from air pollution, and we still need more improvement. And the problem is still quite serious. So thank you very much.
Super. Thank you so much, Anna. It was lovely to hear you talk. I mean, it is a problem. I like that you ended on a more positive note as well. And you started your talk actually saying that air pollution is the largest environmental killer. So it shows how serious the problem is, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, so thank you so much. We have a couple of questions. I think we have time to one, and then we see if we can do a couple more. So that's okay? Awesome. So we have a question coming from Discord, which is from Mara. And she's asking, do you know about solutions for protecting people who use public transport in cities? Because very often, the tram and bus stops are right by the traffic lights, and people inhale directly vehicle pollution while waiting for their supposedly cleaner means of transport.
Yeah, this is a huge problem. I was focusing on my presentation on particulate matter pollution, but when we look at NO2 pollution, so nitrogen dioxide, actually, it is this pollution is very high, especially at the curbside, so next to busy roads, which is where bus stops, tram stops are located. So, of course, we can think about solutions like having, I don't know, air purifiers at the bus stops or tram stops, but then you also need to walk very often along these roads. So I think a better solution is actually to address these high pollution levels. So when we, for example, low emission zones, this is a regulatory solution which basically bans the circulation of cars that emit a lot of pollutants in the city. They're very popular across Europe, and they are effective in bringing basically pollution down in the whole city, not only at tram stops or bus stops. Because as I said, you also cycle along the roads, you also walk along the roads, and it would be impossible to just clean the air along these corridors in which we move.
No, awesome. Thank you so much. Let me just see if we have time for other questions. Yes. So I have another question for you, Anna, and it's actually coming from me because I'm based in Krakow, even though I'm not Polish. And I heard that Krakow in the past used to have 120 smog days. And now it seems that the number is 30 days of smog per year.
Yes.
What was done, to improve the situation? And what do you think, maybe other countries or other cities can actually get inspired by it?
So the main thing that really helped Krakow with at least partially solving the problem or having this great improvement was the introduction of a ban on using coal and wood for heating. So the ban came into force on the 1st September 2019, and we can see gradual. And to prepare to this ban, actually the city gave subsidies for people to give up coal heating, to give up wood heating. So around 30,000 boilers and stoves were replaced with clean heating. And right now we can basically see the results, which are, as you said, very, very positive, a tremendous drop in the number of smog days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge improvement, right? It's a start to solve the issue. And it really looks like the Polish air pollution is a bit different from other countries, right?
Well, I would say it's different than Western Europe. However, for example, when you look at particulate matter pollution in the UK, the main problem right now is actually wood burning in different installations like fireplaces. Yes, this is the main source of air pollution with particulate matter in the UK as well. But here in our region of Central and Eastern Europe, this pollution of coal and wood burning, so basically solid fuels, and the impact of air pollution and the impact of this on air pollution is actually very similar. The same goes for northern Italy, so we're not so special.
Yeah. Well, then I bet there are a lot of solutions that can be shared. A lot of countries,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Well, let me just see if we have time for another question. Okay. So Anna, thank you so much. We have a channel on Discord where people are asking questions. So if it's okay, we're going to forward you a couple of questions as well.
Sure.
Just so we make sure that all the participants get, a bit of your insights and knowledge on that. Right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Super. Thank you so much for joining us. It was, really, really insightful to hear all the points that you brought for us.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, Anna. And with that, I'm happy to announce and introduce our next speaker.
Hello. Surprise, it's me, not Anna. We are almost like one host, but in two people. But makes this special. So not to take too much time, moving on to our next wonderful speaker, I would love to introduce Maggie Carter, who is a director of social responsibility and impact at AWS. And Maggie, are you with us already?
Hi, Jessica. How are you today? It's great to be here.
So, Maggie, are you breathing the clean air actually? Or if you're not, I hope you have one of the masks that I was actually wearing at the beginning. Where are you connecting to us from?
I am connecting from the United States, Virginia specifically.
Okay, so we would love to learn a little bit more about what's the situation with air there, but I don't want to stretch. I want everyone to have the ability to actually listen to what you have to share. So I'll be back with questions afterwards. And now all the lights on are you, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, no pressure. Thanks, Jessica. So I want to thank everybody for being here today and over the next couple of days as we kick off this air quality hackathon. At AWS, we recognize the disproportionate impacts of air pollution on vulnerable communities around the world, the people and places least responsible for the problem, and we are also committed to using cloud technology to help mitigate this. We believe working together is the key to unlocking technology's full potential in this space. Improving air quality is a complex issue that requires collaboration to both build solutions and make impactful air quality data available. Seeing the innovative prototypes built during the hackathon gives me great hope for our ability to combat the issue together. Here at AWS and at Amazon, we recognize that not all people have access to the same resources and opportunities. And as a guiding principle for our we seek to address inequities and create an environment where we increase equitable access and opportunities, leveraging the cloud as a force multiplier. And we're also excited to collaborate with organizations like Tech to the Rescue, who we see as a force multiplier for our work. And it's critical to have our employees as volunteers, and I'm excited that you're going to hear from one of our SA leaders shortly. It's critical for us to engage employee volunteers and the technical community broadly to help enable the development of these solutions. So for us, we listen to communities and we work backwards from their needs, partnering in ways like with Tech to the Rescue, where AWS is best positioned to make an impact, leveraging our technology and our employees' skills and passions and scale of our brand and our infrastructure. We focus on building long-term programs and solutions that have a lasting positive impact. And we apply our scale, technology, and resources to enable customers to build new innovative solutions. I'm really excited to see what comes out of this hackathon. And we amplify our work by tapping into our skilled employee base of volunteers who can have an outsized impact no matter what their expertise. And we believe that volunteering is a transformative experience that brings us closer to our communities, our colleagues, and it also helps connect with the issues that are impacting our colleagues, their families, and the global community. So with that being said, I really want to challenge you to work backwards from, those that are most marginalized by the poor air quality, and those that are, don't have a voice. They're the most vulnerable. And how can we help partner with them and leverage our technology, leverage your expertise, and find innovative ways to address the issue? Excuse me, you can hear my allergies. We're talking about air quality. You can hear my allergies this morning. With that being said, Jacek, I really want to, kick off kind of, if you have some questions for me about, this hackathon and our work together. There he is.
Here I am. You hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. I do have actually questions from Discord, and also Anna was having her own question to our speaker, so I've got my own too.
I would be remiss too. I want to send a special thanks for Sandra Topic for pulling this together on the AWS side. So back to you, Jason.
Sandra is listening and is a remarkable person, and we need more people like you, Sandra, and other people from around the world to actually push for the change and involve in initiatives like this particular one. I really wanted to understand, Maggie, why do you think collaboration is actually important for solving the air pollution problem?
Well, there's a few things, a few reasons there. One is, and it's core to how we work. We bring certain subject matter expertise, and we need to come to the table to identify a problem and work together on solutions by bringing together a diverse set of collaborators, right? And that's where we find that we potentially have the greatest impact by bringing our expertise and partnering with those who have complementary but different expertise. And when we come together, it really is transformative. And it also helps us, we look at partnerships like Tech to the Rescue and the organizations that you're supporting, and then bringing the tech community to the table. We see that as a force multiplication, right? And it's a way for us to, through building those relationships, we're also, not only are we, providing our expertise, but we're also learning. We're learning so much from those that we're, the communities that we're supporting. We're also learning so much from those that we're collaborating with. And it helps us to iterate and improve on how we design and deliver programs and partnerships in this space.
Exactly. I think, thank you for sharing this. I have that question from, which actually is relating to what you just said, the second question of mine. And I would love everyone to understand what else the team at AWS is actually working on besides the air quality problem, because it should really be highlighted so that other companies can actually understand what those areas are.
So one of the things that and I don't know if you guys have mentioned it yet, but I'm really excited because this hackathon is kicking off our work for the AWS Social Responsibility and Impact team in air quality. So this for us is a pivotal moment in this space. In addition to focusing on air quality, we do have work in health equity that we launched 2 years ago. It's a 3-year commitment. So it's called the Health Equity Initiative, where we are supporting research and solution development that addresses the inequities in health, specifically social determinants of health. And, we've supported over 200 organizations over the 2 years. It's a 3-year commitment, so we have another year of that. And then we're looking at, what's next, because it's been a really impactful initiative. That's really, organizations have developed solutions that are addressing, maternal and health in sub-Saharan Africa in a way that has, really transformed the way that they're receiving and accessing healthcare for them and their newborns. So that's just an example of the power of what organizations that are, locally based organizations are building on AWS. We also have our disaster response program, which is more of a reactive program, but it's done some great work leveraging our technology, building technology, addressing, secure communications, analyzing geospatial imagery, and computing at the edge. And most notably for those of you that are based in Europe, we co-led our efforts across the company supporting the humanitarian efforts coming out of the war in Ukraine. And it's something that, we couldn't have done it alone. It was through partnerships with organizations like Tech to the Rescue. That's when we first worked with Tech to the Rescue. And also where we relied on our employees as volunteers to really help, develop solutions that supported the Ukrainian people that were impacted by the war.
It's really admirable. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I'm really happy to see such powerful organization like AWS really focusing and remembering about those crucial community-based organizations and really also focusing on supporting them. I'm happy that Tech to the Rescue is partnering with AWS on various matters and in various areas. And I really hope that your allergy and other challenges that come from the air pollution will hopefully be soon solved. And hopefully this hackathon will actually add a little brick, a little step towards finding the solutions to fight it. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for bringing all the resources that you're bringing, enabling that change and using technology to enable it.
Thank you so much for everything, and we're really excited, like I said, to see what comes out of this. Thank you for bringing us all together.
Thank you again, Maggie. It was wonderful to have you. And here we are back to the studio and moving on with the agenda.
Hello, and we're back, and it's me again. Me and Daniel, we just teletransport. It's a clean way of moving around. And I'm very happy to introduce you our next speaker. May I welcome Axel Klauberg. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And he's the Solutions Architect Director for the DACH region from AWS. Hi, Axel. Can you hear us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Super. Welcome. Where are you calling us from?
Solingen, Germany. So indeed,
okay.
Zero emissions on the way here.
Okay. Well, I hope the air around you is clear and that you can, breathe normally and so on. Super. Well, Axel, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you as one of our speakers. And The floor is yours.
Thank you. And thanks a lot for the invitation as well. Cloud-powered transportation. Well, that sounds too good to be true. We had reInvent running last week in Las Vegas. And no, you didn't miss the most important announcement that the cloud can now do teleportation without emissions. Unfortunately, no, this is still some time out. But let's look a little bit and let's be a little bit more serious about the topic as well. I'm not sure how you felt with the latest emission data being published also around COP28 running right now in Dubai. I was shocked that especially the carbon emissions are still increasing and that we're now reaching the 1.5 degree already in 2030. So that's shocking. We have to act. We have to do something. And I strongly believe that technology can help in this space. Now, technology and sustainability, well, it's an interesting combination because normally people look at the cloud as something driving emissions. Well, let's go a little bit into detail. In a partnership with Incisive, we had asked companies in the retail and consumer packaged goods space, because they are very transport heavy as well, about the relationship between technology and sustainability. So 72% of the respondents agreed it's impossible to meet their sustainability goals without using technology. That's in line with my expectation. But only 21% agree that they are effective in using technology to support their sustainability strategy. And that's what I see with the customers I'm dealing with on a daily basis. And that is something which definitely has to change. It's already more than 4 years ago that we launched the Climate Pledge. So Amazon and Global Optimism back in September 2019 announced the Climate Pledge, a commitment to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement 10 years early and achieve net zero carbon by 2040. And we were the first signatory of the Climate Pledge. We had the vision, hey, one enterprise alone cannot solve the problem. However, getting a larger group of companies behind, that can actually help to solve the problem or at least make moves in the right direction. So today we have more than 400 signatories from all around the world and basically from all industries, and that is definitely making me proud. So besides the regular reporting, the focus of the pledge is also on carbon elimination. And that requires changes to business. It requires innovation and definitely also focus on renewable energy, on new materials, on new way of building, for example, to eliminate carbon right at that stage. I have to admit I'm a little bit skeptical around the offsets, because if you look at the number of offsets which have been sold globally, and if you look and compare it against the, for example, the forests we have, there seems to be a mismatch. So within the pledge, the focus is on credible offsets, but still I believe we need to focus on, especially number 2, the carbon elimination and to have proper and regular reporting. So as part of the climate pledge, there was also a $2 billion US dollar investment fund established, and that happened back in 2020. And Amazon is active in this space as well. So here you see a set of companies Amazon has invested in to reach the goals of the climate pledge and also to reach our company goals. So we have initial focus in the climate pledge fund on transportation and logistics, energy generation, buildings, manufacturing materials, circular economy, food and agriculture. So from the companies you see here, Beta is actually an interesting one. It's an electric vertical takeoff and landing company. So they are building an electric aircraft that can be used to deliver, for example, packages. And Rivian, probably the well-known, most known in this list here is an electric vehicle maker and automotive technology company. And we ordered 100,000 custom electric vehicles from Rivian. So a little bit more on that in a second. Zero Avia is focusing on hydrogen electric aviation solutions, also something extremely interesting with targeting the ability to fly within a 500-mile range with a 10 to 20 seat aircraft. And that could be used also for commercial passenger transport, but also package delivery, agriculture, and more. Finally, Ion, it's a startup that develops software to improve the life and the performance of lithium-ion batteries that power electric vehicles and energy storage systems. More on that part also in a second. Amazon globally is the world's largest corporate purchaser of renewable energy, and we're on the path to power 100% of our operations with renewable energy by 2025, 5 years ahead of our own original target of 2030. So we are investing around the globe in renewable energy projects. So currently, as of November, those are more than 470 projects worldwide, and we have more than 26 gigawatts of total renewable capacity. So we're on good path to reach our goal. Back in 22, so last year, we had already crossed the 90% level in renewable energy. So I'm part of Amazon Web Services, but let me talk about Amazon Retail first, because obviously decarbonizing the transport network is a key part of meeting the climate pledge. And that's why we are actively transforming also our last mile fleet network and the operations. Especially at a rate we are facing today with more than 145 million packages delivered to customers' doorsteps with zero emission vehicles, both in the US as well as in Europe. That's already an impressive number. So we have 9,000 custom electric delivery vans which are rolled out. And we have more than 15 models of electric vehicles on the road. And that's not only limited to those vans, but it also includes e-cargo bikes and even e-rickshaws. I haven't seen that though. Let me be very clear. The best way to reduce air pollution is the reduction of the number of vehicles on the roads. So investments into smart cities, efficient public transport, but also cycling and walking are options we have to look at. Well, I think, having been in the US last week, I believe there are places where it's even worse, but even here in the country where I'm living in, efficient public transport is currently a big problem in Germany. And definitely we have to focus on that. Well, my daughters have 3 horses. They are not emission-free and they wouldn't solve the problem we have in business either. So definitely requires some focus from us. Now, electric vehicles seems to be top of everyone's mind. And indeed, that sounds like an easy way to reduce the direct emissions compared to vehicles using traditional combustion engines. But we also have to look at the fact that the vehicles are actually changing. It's not the same vehicle we're talking about, because typically an electric vehicle with the weight of the batteries, it's much heavier, and that has some impact. And we overall have to look at the age and the type of the car the electric vehicle is replacing. And yes, also the electricity mix in the country. So here in Germany, we're on a good path. Still, the stepping out of nuclear energy, for example, and continuing the investment in producing energy, electricity using coal is not always positive. So you have to look at how you are using the right electricity mix also in charging your electric vehicles. Obviously, electric vehicles completely eliminate exhaust emissions, both on NO2, sorry, my brain is not properly working today, and particle matters. They are reducing brake wear as well, because we're reusing the energy when we hit the brake. But electric vehicles, unfortunately, don't fix the problem completely. So we also have to look at the non-exhaust emissions. And as mentioned, electric vehicles are heavier, so that has an impact on tire wear. And with that, there's an impact on road dust as well. Now, actually looking at smart electric vehicles, one topic to address that's not only hitting us in the logistics business, but it's definitely also an overall problem also for consumers, is to do proper route planning. So we can charge the batteries, for example, when we go on vacation using an electric vehicle, but definitely also we have to look at this in the last mile business where parcels, for example, are delivered. So the optimization of the routes here and to make the user experience as optimal as possible and have the same experience as with the combustion engine cars, I think that is critical. We have companies like Wireless Car who are active since more than 20 years in this business. And it's quite interesting because they have published a solution. You see the reference in the link below, which is completely built on the AWS and that matches the driver's needs with accurate charging guidance and also combining the specific information from the vehicle with live data with that calculation. So I think that's a nice example that technology can support also electric vehicles. Another nice example, it's work in progress, and we have published this as a reference architecture showing what the cloud can actually do in this context. And this is addressing a problem, which is actually a big problem if we think long-term about battery health and the remaining useful life of batteries. And that's a problem basically all of the original equipment manufacturers, the car manufacturers have. And one way to address this is actually using a set of cloud services on top of AWS to collect live data from the electric vehicles and learn also from these data using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and make the data available to, on one side, the car manufacturers, the OEMs, but also to the vehicle owners. I don't want to go into the architecture detail. There's a full reference architecture with detailed information available. For me, this is just one great example how technology can actually help solving a real business problem. Actually, if we think a little bit more long-term, that actually takes us to the question, what's actually happening with the battery once it's towards the end of life? How does this circular economy actually look like? And that is a topic which is a little bit future-looking still, because we are definitely not there, but that's exactly the next step following what I just showed on the previous slide. It's not as easy as it sounds because it's combining two models. It's mechanical and chemical, and that's not directly related to technology here, but technology can support the process and bring us on the way towards a battery circularity model. One approach could also be to have kind of a digital battery passport, and it's actually a running gag, especially in the tech community. A lot of people said, well, I'm so glad there's generative AI now, then I don't need to talk about blockchain. But blockchain is actually a topic, while it might have been over-positioned in the past and overhyped in the past, this is an area where blockchain, the Amazon managed blockchain service, for example, can actually help in combination with our serverless services to actually drive such a circular economy, especially for the batteries. This is future looking, so this is not an existing solution which is in place today, but these are all areas or examples for areas we need to look at. We need to look at together to drive progress and to reach the goals we have. The interesting part is technology is evolving quickly. And the second part of my presentation is actually focusing on the evolving technology, just to round it up. It's great that technology is evolving because this will give us new opportunities as well, but we need to use it also in a responsible way. We have a tipping point definitely in the area of machine learning and definitely for generative AI right now. On one side, we see the massive proliferation of data. We have massive compute capacity available on demand. And also, definitely since 2017, there was massive innovation in the machine learning space. And that led to the situation when OpenAI had published ChatGPT just a little bit more than a year ago. Wow, what has happened since then? It's a true hype which was generated, and for me it was absolutely surprising to see the speed, the pace in which generative AI had reached the general population. I'd witnessed another transformation like that was the internet in the late 90s, in the early 2000s. I was using the internet since 1985, so that was a surprise that over a couple of years it arrived in the general population. Now here it's just a couple of months. The scary part is, don't know what your first experience with this technology was. I first asked ChatGPT to write a poem for my wife, which is quite unusual for me. I'm a techie, I'm not good at poems. So she was skeptical because she thought that that's not you. Okay, but it was okay. Second one, I asked ChatGPT, write a short biography about Axel Klauberg. There are only two Axel Klaubergs known, at least in the typical searches. One is in the IT space working in Florida, and the other one is me. And I was quite public in my life before AWS, as I was in the press basically every week. So I thought that's an easy exercise. And the first section reads really well, but then one thing had hit, and that's called hallucinations. The underlying large language models, they cannot think. They just know how to write good texts. And there's more than just one model, just showing the tree of models as they have evolved over the last years. And we have to be really focused using generative AI on reducing hallucination. And that can be done, for example, by fine-tuning with our own data, or also by engineering the prompts in a way that they are reducing hallucination. But the main point is there's more than one model, and we have to pick the right model. And that also has a sustainability impact. We have to pick the right model for the job. So at AWS, we wanted to make this easier. We are active in machine learning as Amazon since more than 20 years, and we have democratized machine learning and AI, and we definitely want to do the same in the generative AI space. So we wanted to offer the easiest way to build. We wanted to support customers in differentiating with their own data. And yes, we want to increase productivity, and we want to have the most performant and lowest energy consumption. So we started offering a set of foundation models using SageMaker Jumpstart. So anyone who's able to use Jupyter playbooks can just get started with a variety of models. And basically, the list of models is evolving every week. But we also made another step and said, well, the the real approach is to make it as easy as possible, to make it serverless. People shouldn't be focused on managing operating systems, managing resources, but just can scale and still offer the model flexibility our customers need to pick the right model for the job. And our solution in that space is called Amazon Bedrock. Now, we have a variety of models which are offered also in Amazon Bedrock. And also here, you have to pick the right model for the job. For example, Anthropic Claude 2.1 was just announced by Anthropic a couple of weeks ago, and we announced last week at reInvent that we are supporting the latest version of Claude here as well in Amazon Bedrock. Llama 2 from Meta, another great example, a very effective and small, relatively small model. Why is it important to pick the right model? Well, if you have a model with trillion parameters, you start to fine-tune the model. That is basically you're copying the model, you're fine-tuning it with your own data because you want to protect your own data. And if you have a trillion parameter model, you need a lot of hardware resources to actually operate the model. Now, your data is your differentiator. You have to protect the model which is fine-tuned with your data, because then the whole model contains your IPR. So fine-tuning is an absolute requirement, and so is the requirement also on prompt engineering. And as mentioned, the reason for that is to limit hallucinations. So maximizing accuracy for specific tasks, and we're achieving that with a fairly small number of labeled data we're feeding into the model. But then again, it's your own model. It's a copy of the original model with your data. So it's very important to also look at generative AI together with your data strategy to have a comprehensive set of services for storing and also querying structured and unstructured, as well as vector data. The special focus is to make it as easy as possible to connect your data lakes and, for example, the analytics platform. You don't want to extract and transform data, so you want to easily connect, and you want to have end-to-end governance as well. Now, the privacy of your data, for us, it's absolutely critical. So none of customers' data is ever used to train the underlying models. All data is encrypted, addressed, and likewise, the customer-specific data that trains the models, they remain completely private. Now you might say, well, the others can do that as well. Then we can remind you again of the sustainability impact. At AWS, we committed to be water positive by returning more water to the communities than we will use in our direct operations. There was a recent study by the University of California in Riverside. They were analyzing the water consumption of a major cloud operator after the launch of their generative AI services. Did you know that ChatGPT drinks 500 milliliters of water for each 5 prompts you are feeding? 500 milliliters of water, well, it's raining a lot in Germany these days. So you think, well, we can sure afford it, but this is not the case around the world. So focus on water, focus on energy consumption, I believe is absolutely important. So beside the ease of use, I think we also have to look at which hardware we are using and whether we can use optimized hardware, because otherwise we're using technology to improve, for example, transportation. At the same time, we're increasing emissions to a level we shouldn't. So we have dedicated hardware. We had announced Graviton 3 some time ago, that it consumes 60% less energy compared to other similar EC2 instances. We just announced Graviton 4 last week, offering another 30% better compute performance. And with that comes also the energy efficiency. Likewise, the chipsets for inference as well as for training, that is something to look at. Do you really need the large GPU fabric to actually train your models and to operate your models, or can you do this in a much more efficient way? So with that, I'd like to close, and I strongly believe that technology can do a lot in reducing the sustainability impact overall, and especially in the transportation space. But we're still at the beginning, and referring to the statistics I had shared in the beginning, only 21% of the companies are using this at this point in time, and that's what we have to change. And here we have to react as well when new technology like generative AI comes to the table, and we have to use the new technology as early as possible and as responsible as possible to drive the execution towards our goals. With that, I'd like to close and open it up for questions.
Yes. Well, Axel, thank you so much for your talk. I think it was very inspiring. You brought some scary numbers to us, right? And but it was very interesting. I'm sure it sparked the curiosity for all the participants that are watching. And I do have one question for you that came through our Discord channel. But first, I want to ask, a personal question. Because you mentioned a lot about AI, generative AI. So how are you feeling, personally? How excited are you to actually use AI to tackle those issues that you mentioned?
I'm absolutely excited. Yeah, and I'm a boring German, so I'm normally not that excited. But what happened here, that doesn't happen too often for someone working a long time in technology, being in the industry since '82. As mentioned, I only had two situations like that. Number one was the internet, and the second is happening right now in the AI space. And it's actually interesting to look, because it's not just generative AI. With generative AI arriving in the general population, there's a different view on the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence, not just with the large models. People start to think, hey, do I really need billion parameter models to do a job? Or can I do it with, let me call it, regular, smaller machine learning technologies? And that is the fascinating part, and that's why I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great to see, to hear that, and to see also your excitement about that. I think the future can be bright with all these new technologies coming, right? So I do have one question for you from the Discord channel, and you mentioned you are not at all a boring German, but we want to ask about Germany, right? Because is where you're based right now, and we know that Germany is very big in the transportation industry, right? And based on what you see and your work at AWS, talking with customers and the industry in general there, what do you see as the most, innovative thing happening to, reduce emissions, to have a more cleaner industry, so to speak?
Yeah, well, let's face it, the German automotive industry especially was late to the game. And but it's impressive to see, for example, at reInvent last week in Adam's keynote, we had a speaker from the BMW group, and they were sharing their strategy on collecting car information, using the car information in a very positive way. And so I'm impressed by the progress we're seeing here from also the German automotive industry. And it's not just the big players, it's also the whole chain of also smaller manufacturing companies in the automotive space. So I see a lot of innovation taking place right now, but it's indeed a catch up. And this is a global industry, so we need to look at the problem globally as well. And hopefully that drives overall the execution towards the goals forward. But for let's say the European economies, we might see more challenges as some other parts of the world are executing faster because they're closer to technology.
Yeah. No, I like that you brought that up, right? Because, okay, we're talking about one industry in one country, but the problem is global, right? And particularly when you talk about air quality and air pollution, there are no borders for that, right?
Right. Also, if you look at the latest emissions report, China and India were the ones driving the numbers up. We have to look at it globally.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, thank you so much, Axel. I think you brought a very real scenario of how things are going, but definitely I think what remains from your talk is this excitement about the use of new technologies to actually tackle this issue, right, for the good. So thank you so much for your talk. If we have more questions, you can always put on Discord, guys, and we'll make sure that we can send them to our speakers, okay? And may I ask now Daniel to get back on stage with me. So good to have you back, Daniel. Do you have your mic on?
I think I have my voice back. Yes, everybody's nodding. So we're alive, and we are two together again, getting close to very probably most important part right now, right?
Exactly. The moment that I think everybody was waiting for.
Well, I was waiting for sure, sitting at the backstage and looking at the wonderful presentation by Axel. I was actually surprised by the water consumption facts. That was something that was really eye-opening to me that I didn't think about.
Yeah,
but
I was really shocked.
Yeah, this is exactly what we expect from this event, like being surprised, being inspired, being learning in
and
learning
being
process.
Shocked by the truth as well, right? We need to know those facts.
So let's move on to those for whom this event is actually for. And with that, Anna?
Yes. To everyone participating, in a few minutes, you will be reviewed all the details from the 7 challenges that we have, brought by 7 nonprofits. But before we go, let's remind who we have here today and a sneaky peek of their challenges. What do you think?
I will start then. So we have Sensors Africa, and the name is pretty self-explanatory, but this is an initiative that was brought by citizens and scientists. So, and a very interesting collaboration. And they provide real-time air quality data for this society in Africa. Today, they would like to create a tool to address data gaps during the sensor downtime. So this is something where they want to predict missing information with potentially machine learning.
Wow, that's actually awesome. And the second organization that we have with us is Smart Air Bangladesh. And they're actually the only organization in whole Bangladesh that it's focused on addressing the air pollution issue.
Really?
Yes, exactly. And their challenge here with us is to develop a tech solution that connects sensors to an exhibit site displaying the harms of air pollution. So it's something like a digital/physical challenge there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think variety of different interesting projects, different locations, as I mentioned at the beginning. Now back to Poland, Polish Smog Alert. This is a campaign that many of you might hear about. It raises awareness about the effects of smog, specifically, a very tough but important challenge, and basically the influence of smog on people's health. So the alert, the campaign, they developed an art campaign called Clean Lungs, which kind of creates an image of what it potentially was about, right?
Yeah.
And now what they want to do is they want to move to digital. They want to build a platform, or potentially a platform or maybe some product. This is going to be on you, actually.
Daniel, you want to be a hacker?
Yeah, I would love to, but I can't. we would love to create a product that would transform the art into some sort of awareness reflecting real-time air quality impact globally. I wonder what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, that's actually great. I received an alert today that the air quality in Krakow is not good. So
yeah, this is true.
Very timely.
Fortunately, we are indoor, so and we have masks, right? I really
Daniel has.
I do. I can share. I don't know if this is the best way to actually help ourselves, but with this hackathon, you can help us not to wear the masks again.
Yes, exactly. And the next organization that we have also here with us is the Thailand Clean Air Network.
Mm-hmm.
And their aim is actually to influence air quality legislation.
Okay.
Very important topic. So they want to address a governmental greenwashing, so to speak. And their challenge here, what they're trying to do with the hackers in the event, is to build a tech solution to bridge the gap between, you know, all this legal jargon, all these sophisticated ways talking about legislation to actually help people's lives and empower support for cleaner air legislation. Yeah,
legislation is pretty important, right? Because at the end of the day, it's also about what will be the rules and boundaries. How do we...
And having mechanisms, right? To make sure that you have clean air policies in line.
Yeah, wonderful. We'll see. We'll see what the results of the hacking is. Moving on to AfriSet, which is an organization that evaluates low-cost air quality sensors in West Africa. And they want to use it to address needs of underserved areas and communities there. Today, they want to create a universal database, a solution that would unite diverse sensor data in West Africa and standardize the outputs for more accuracy and correct information. Interesting?
That's fantastic.
Sounds pretty smart and sounds pretty interesting.
And it sounds pretty needed. Yeah, exactly.
What else?
The next organization that we have with us is Bicara Udara. And they are an Indonesian organization aiming to raise awareness about the effects of smog and encourage young people like us.
Yes, of course.
To vote for politicians that have policies related to air quality. So what they want to do is to effectively engage Generation Z and millennials to actually go and vote. And they want to create a user-friendly tech solution to empower Indonesia's youth to vote for clean air by showing those candidates that have this topic in their agenda. Yeah.
This is the 6th out of 7.
Yes, exactly. Do you see yourself as a Gen Z or a millennial, Daniel? I think this project would be good for us.
I'm intergenerational person. I don't associate myself with any group. I'm here to serve all the groups.
Okay, so he's a boomer. Yeah.
Well, I've heard that a couple of times in my life, so maybe, or maybe not. We'll see. We might post a poll on the Discord and see what the community actually thinks. Which generation am I? That might be a contest that I just created and our marketing team will be really happy to pursue.
I think we know the answer, but maybe let's talk about the last challenge that we have.
Yes, last but not least, of course, the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air. Very professional name, professional operations. They are in an independent research organization. And they devoted their work to uncovering different trends and causes and health impacts, of course. Now working on solutions to air pollution. Today they would like to work on something revolutionizing air pollution, but focus on decision making and estimation of emissions. So we'll be working on trying to make sure that satellite data are used for cleaner and healthier future. So any one interested in using satellite data for that, there is one project for you.
That's amazing. Well, all of those challenges, you know the details pretty soon, and all of them have a dedicated channel on Discord. The link to the live presentations of each challenge will be placed there on Discord. You already know, I'm sure everyone is already there. And all the presentations will be recorded as well. So if you need to watch it later or refer to some information that you heard, you always have this chance. And if your team is interested in more than one challenge, you can actually split, and each of you can attend one session and see what interests you the most.
Exactly. So it's the first thing that you can do as a team. Go observe every single project if you can, and then come together, vote, and make a choice. That's very democratic.
Exactly.
All right. So I guess the main thing right now for you would be to get some bucket of coffee. Then
Needed.
obviously log into Discord. There are mentors that are there. They're waiting to support you if you have any questions. And, well, get ready to coding, right?
Yes, exactly.
We have also information about some timelines and deadlines. So Friday morning, remember that. This is the time that your team has until you will be able to code. So this is basically the most important deadline that you need to remember.
Yes. And just a small parenthesis, it's 9 a.m. Central Europe time. Because it's an international event, we need to make sure we have the correct time zone.
Right, correct. Central Eastern Europe, to be very specific, the time in between all the time zones, trying to be most inclusive. And with that, I would like to also add one more thing, that today, actually, we are opening the Challenge Rocket platform. So this is a platform where you can submit your project. Please select one person from your team that will go and submit or actually open a draft of the project on the platform, so you can later on drop there the final solution.
Exactly. Opening the draft today means that you can update it until the deadline on Friday.
Right, exactly. So what would actually such submission on Challenge Rocket require? So you can see it on the screen. Also, the submission requires a demo or a slide deck, something that would present your idea, your project. Not too long, just short, sweet, to the point, so everybody can understand what you just built. We also want you to provide a video, 5-minute long, something like a pitch, so that the judges can actually review and hear what the idea is actually about. And then there is an information here that there is a requirement for an open source repository. This is actually applicable only to the finalists, but we also inform you about it right now, so it's clear what will happen to the final projects. And because we want to make sure that as many people as possible are able to use the solutions, we make this a requirement.
Yes, exactly. So after the deadline and you've submitted the final project, then it comes the evaluation part.
Mm-hmm.
An evaluation will take place also on Friday. You can see it on the screen from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Europe time. And the judges assigned to your challenge will be asked to review and evaluate all the submitted projects by the hacking team. The criteria to score the challenges or the solutions at that point, it will be on safety, innovation, completeness, quality, and usefulness/easiness to deploy. So you might want to take in consideration these 5 criteria when thinking of the solution.
All right.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, this is very interesting. Mm-hmm. Do we have anything that our listeners should know about?
Yes, because after that, there will be a live Q&A session. Mm-hmm. And this will happen also on Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Europe time.
Okay.
Live Q&A sessions will happen with the 3 best teams per challenge. If you are chosen as a finalist, you'll be notified on Discord. You already know the drill. You have to be on Discord. First, the judges will watch your 5-minute video presentation or your pitch. And right after, you will join a 5-minute live Q&A session with them.
Right. And then the best part, which is my favorite.
Let me say it.
Yeah, do it. Okay.
Okay, and the best part is that each challenge will have a final winner. And this winner will receive a prize and the right to donate $1,000 to a charity of their choice.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that amazing?
No, it is, but this is not the end, right?
That's not all.
Right. Yeah.
I'll leave that part to you. That's fine.
Thank you. Yes. So we have an extra prize, and then this extra prize will be actually something that will be exclusive for the top projects, right? The 3 projects that will be the winners of the whole hackathon will actually be granted $5,000 to donate to their hackathon prototypes to the organizations of okay. Yeah. Back to the
it's
core,
it's a big amount. Excitement. We get a little bit,
it's so much excitement. The conclusion is that this money, $5,000, it will be invested in the prototypes that will be created during the hackathon, and this money will allow the development. So, it's something already. We are giving some money away, and it might be very, very useful for the further development.
Yes, it's super exciting. We're not used to seeing so many prizes, right? Is that all?
Well, with every single hackathon, there is something interesting happening. So I guess right now I would love everyone to keep an eye on Discord, of course. I think we will wish you happy coding, and then before we let you go to learn about challenges, we want to play a surprise video.
Yes, and I hope the video will get inspired for you to start coding, and right after, you'll have all the challenges revealed.
All right.
I think we can finish just saying, happy hacking.
Yeah, let's go.
Gimana caranya anak-anak kita tuh sehat di sini. Tapi mau di dalam rumah, mau di mana tetap aja namanya debu kan kita nggak tahu. Dia tetap masuk. Dengan siapa sih, Dek? Dengan aku.
Kalau di era-era saya kan alamnya itu lebih bagus, polusinya berkurang gitu. Kawasan Marunda ini dikelilingi oleh beberapa industri dan 2 pelabuhan. Sesak napas saya terhimpit, udara yang begitu kotor yang saya rasakan bahkan sampai saya di tenggorokan terasa sakit. Setelah pindah ke sini yang pertama adalah masalah pencemaran. Kami sangat khawatir sekali pada anak-anak yang setiap hari dia bernapas dengan menghirup udara yang kotor. Saya terakhir mendata warga D3 yang sakit, itu keluhan banyak yang dialami warga.
Yang sulit itu menghilangkan debu. Gimana caranya anak-anak kita tuh sehat? Udara yang kita hirup nggak sehat. Karena anak-anak kita semua gampang sakit.
Dengan berkembangnya masalah seperti munculnya polusi udara dan krisis iklim, memiliki kemungkinan adanya penyakit-penyakit baru ataupun perkembangan penyakit dari penyakit-penyakit sebelumnya karena perparahan dari kondisi iklim yang terjadi. Seorang anak-anak ataupun bayi menghirup udara lebih banyak dibandingkan orang dewasa. Mereka akan menghirup zat toksik lebih banyak daripada orang dewasa. Dampak jangka panjangnya adalah terkait penyakit pernafasan kronik.
yang kami lihat itu ya memang tidak terlihat, tetapi ketika dia terjatuh ke tanah itu sangat terlihat jelas. Pada saat polusi itu masuk terbawa angin, ya paling kami menyarankan bahwa harap jangan di luar gitu, segera di dalam rumah dan gunakan masker. Dan pada saat warga ada yang sakit, ya segera lakukan pengobatan ke puskesmas. Ya hanya itu aja sih yang bisa kami lakukan gitu.
Seorang dokter dan seorang calon dokter juga untuk memahami situasi agar dapat menyikapinya secara lebih bijaksana dan bisa menunjukkan suatu fakta. Mengukur kualitas udara tentunya sangat penting untuk kita memberikan gambaran seberapa bersih, seberapa sehat udara yang kita hirup sehari-hari. Dan sebaiknya fakta tersebut dipublikasikan kepada masyarakat setempat. Karena polusi udara dan krisis iklim, kalau misalnya dibiarkan terus-menerus, hal ini dapat berdampak kepada kesehatan di masyarakat. Mengetahui data itu juga menjadi suatu landasan yang fundamental untuk kita, untuk membuat suatu solusi, baik solusi untuk diri kita sendiri, solusi untuk masyarakat, bahkan skala yang lebih besar lagi.
Ketika saya ada di taman kota dengan udara yang berbeda, seperti yang saya rasakan, begitu enaknya plong di hidung, di tenggorokan, dan di dada. Ini loh harapan kami, yang kami inginkan. Bahwa kami hidup yang setiap hari bernapas menggunakan udara sebagai hak setiap manusia mendapatkan udara yang bersih.
Car Free Day kayak gini kan buat kesehatan juga bagus. Udaranya segar, sehat, dihirupnya juga enak, jauh dari udara yang tidak baik. Kayak gini kan sejuk, itu dunia yang baik menurut saya ya. Dia sehat. Happy-nya mereka dunia yang terbaik sih buat saya.